your worry about having to sell low-grade lumber and ruining your reputation will start to go away, simply because at some point you're going to have a lot of trouble making really low-grade garbage lumber. Yeah, exactly. This one's a big one, probably 40 inches, give or take. I don't know if it's that big, at least 36. My uprights are at 36. Make sure we get it balanced. About, I don't know, 2 foot at least. Pretty nice size. Hey Chip, you ready to go get another load? Let's go. Get another load of logs, Chippy, don't we? You want to drive or you want me to drive? Okay, I'll drive. Did I wake you up from your nap? That's a puppy. So I gotta wash this off real quick. One thing, kind of one of my pet peeves, is I drive down the road and I see other people hauling logs on trailers that really do not, that really have no business hauling logs. And if you notice my trailer, the uprights, I mean, my trailer's in real good shape. I have to get it DOT inspected every year. And you got to kind of keep it clean, because one of the tickets you can get is for debris or unsecured load. And I don't want to have a piece of spark or something come off and, you know, hit a vehicle behind me. So I'm always kind of trying to keep it relatively clean. I mean, I'm not like a neat freak or nothing. But you'll notice my uprights are heavy gauge steel, and that's important. I see so many people driving down the road with trailers And they're using 2x4s or just half-rotted wood as uprights for their log. And that just doesn't make any sense to me, because you're hauling, I mean, trees basically, and you think you're going to secure them with toothpicks? They start to roll? No, it ain't going to happen. So, you know, years ago I built these steel uprights. They're really effective. I love them. I'm not saying you got to build something just like it, but what I am saying is be safe when you're on the road hauling logs. So here's what the trailer looks like. Big hunks of steel, 4-inch heavy wall channel, really good support. This thing is massive, and this is what you want to build. You don't want no little 2x4s in there. Make sure you don't hit the tailgate on the way out. And raise it up automatically, because it's a Ford and it'll do that. Well, Chip said he would stop talking to me unless I clean this mess up. Look, he's giving me the cold shoulder. He says, you better not try to sell that wood. All right, Chippy, don't worry, I'll fix it. Hey folks, welcome to another weekly edition with Sawing with Robert Milton here at Hobby Hardwood. I am Robert Milton. This is Hobby Hardwood, and this is a disaster. So you guys know I try to answer every question on my YouTube channel, and one of the comments is I was doing some cherry live edge sawing a few videos ago. Somebody said, well, if you saw through the pith, which you don't, what will happen? Why don't you saw through the pith? And I said, well, you know, I've tried to explain it several times, but yakking about it is not the same as showing it. So I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to saw up a few logs. I'm going to take 2 or 3 right down through the juvenile core, right through the pith, right where it cracks, right where I've said all the time, never, never do it. And I'll do it, and then I'll let them sit for a few weeks, and then I'll come back and do the before and the after shots. So that's what I did. And so, good comment on the YouTube. And I wish I had never done it, because these things are horrible. And I'm going to have to fix them because Chip's even mad at me. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I mean, look at these big, beautiful live edge slabs. Widest point, I mean, we're talking 26.5 inches. Look at this one, 26 inches. Look at how bad the pith cracked. Now, this one's even worse. And not only does it cause it to crack, the juvenile core, because it's of a different structure of wood. Look at what it looks like when I back up. Can you see how not flat those guys are? I mean, that one down there is cupped. I mean, you could build a skateboard rink out of that thing. So this will be one of the last times I ever film myself cutting through the pith. At the very center of the log, you have what's called the juvenile core. That's the part of the tree that, as it is a sapling, basically has to tread water in the forest under the canopy, and it's ready to explode through the canopy as soon as another tree dies or gets struck by lightning or something like that. It stores all its energy in a very fast growing structure of its cellular structure of wood. And that's why it's called the juvenile core. So when it has a chance, it just basically just blows up through the canopy. Then it starts putting on what you would consider your normal, you know, sapwood, heartwood sort of thing. But because of that juvenile core, or the pith is of a different type of wood, a different structure, it cracks. It always cracks as it dries. Some species are worse than others. Cherry, walnut, a few, the ones that I saw, or mill up, are extremely bad. So anyway, this is just an example of me telling you don't do this. And I did it to illustrate why you don't do it, because I guess I had a little bit of poor judgment, but even I have poor judgment, so I did it anyway. And now I'm paying for it because I knew I shouldn't have done it anyway. So all you folks out there in YouTube land, please think of the pain I am putting myself through when we fix these guys up, and like and subscribe this video so I can get a little bit of payback on it. But anyway, we're going to put these on the mill. I'm just going to strip the core out, and I'm going to end up with a couple of not really good 8/4 boards. Not going to be happy with that, but I'm not going to even really finish drying this because it's so nasty. I can't stand it. And that really brings us to, and that's really going to bring me to the primary topic of this video, and it's another one that I had a comment on. It's something that any professional sawmiller, as you're doing a business, you'll have to deal with. It's also something, it's a hobby saw you're going to have to figure your way out around. And that is basically what level of wood that you're sawing is just not good enough. And if you are trying to have a business, as one of my commentors explained, that they're really kind of caught in the middle. They haven't really started their business yet. Well, this is crooked. They haven't really got their business going, but they know of other sawmillers in the area who sell basically garbage wood. They get a garbage wood reputation, and it's almost impossible to recover from that. And on the other hand, we have a reputation for extremely high grade, high quality wood. So his question is, what do you do with your low grade wood? How do you manipulate the value of not just throwing out low grade or burning it, which you can't because you've got money invested if you're buying logs. What do you do with it? How do you try to make it of a higher value, and how do you keep your reputation up as a sawmill? Now, I understand there's some of you guys out there, because I get some comments and they say, what do I care? I saw it, I sell it, they buy it. I'm happy, they're happy. Who cares if it's good wood or bad wood? They don't know the difference, and I don't care to let them know the difference. I totally disagree with that. I mean, if you're watching my video, that's not the way I operate. I operate on, if you're not going to be as good as you can be, then why would you even try? The better you are as a sawmiller, the better as a hobbyist, the better your hobby projects, your furniture projects, even your doghouse will turn out, and you do get a certain amount of pride. The better you produce whatever you're producing. As a business, I cannot tell you how many customers we get that leave other sawmills with wood that's so crooked you could use it as an airplane propeller. They paid out the nose for it. It's garbage wood. They take it home, they try to fix it. It's even worse. They spend all their time working on it, and then they come to me all upset. They look at our wood, they buy our wood, all the while dog cussing the sawmill they just bought that garbage from down the road or in another town or something. So the answer is I fully understand the question. As a business, you're investing in raw material. You want to use all the product from it. That's just good business. As a business, you want your reputation to grow positively so you can get more business. And as a hobbyist, certainly, you don't want to waste your time sawing up garbage. So as you watch my videos, if you go back through I think I'm at 200 now, the main theme of my videos is try to do it right. And there is some learning involved, but you can do it because it ain't rocket science, but it is a technical trade. And just like any trade, you have to learn how to do it. On the other hand, on the positive side, once you've learned how to do it, or every time you get a little bit better, you'll never go backwards. Kind of like, imagine if you hired a brick mason to brick your new house, but the only place he'd learn how to do bricks or how to lay brick was watching YouTube videos. That walls, you would not hire that person. Most tradespeople work their way up as an apprentice. You know, the brick guy, he spent probably a couple of years making mortar mud, helping them lay things out. And then finally they gave him a trowel and said, start laying bricks. So he's already kind of been exposed to the tricks of the trades and how to do things right. I mean, same thing on pretty much any trade. There's a certain progression that you go through, and as you progress, you get better basically as an apprentice or an apprentice program or a watcher or whatever you want to call it, a helper. And then as you get a chance to run the welder, you're good. As a matter of fact, I have a nephew-in-law, I guess he's my nephew, and he went through certified welding class. I mean, he's a good welder. Younger guy, went to trade school. For the last year and a half, and then he got hired on as a professional welder at professional welders' wages, junior professional welder. And for the last year and a half after he got hired, all he's been doing is fixing other people's bad welds. He's grinding them off, he's cleaning them up, he's having to re-weld them, the whole bit. And of course, he's not real happy with that. He wanted to go in guns blazing, hey, look, I'm a pro, I know what I'm doing. But I can understand the company because they say, yeah, you may have been even trained and certified, but for the first period of time, kind of like Major League Baseball, most people go to a farm club, you're going to be fixing other people's mistakes, so you'll learn what mistakes are not allowed and you'll learn how to fix them before we give you the welder all yourself, and before we cut you loose on the welder. So I'm saying all that is because sawmilling is one of the few trades that you don't have to serve an apprenticeship program on. You literally can go online, buy a sawmill, and it shows up a few weeks later, and you go, I'm a sawmiller. And it gets incredibly frustrating simply because most times you don't know what you're doing. I mean, that's just the way it is. Unless you come from a sawmilling family, you don't know what you're doing. Then the only teaching you get is off YouTube videos. We were rated the highest grade hardwood lumber producing state for 3 years. If you hear country radio, probably 30 to 50% of the music you hear on the radio recorded in Nashville is now being recorded from it's now being recorded from guitars made from our wood that the guitar builders buy here. Trust me, I'm not going to drop names. But anyway, so the bottom line is, you can learn how to do this, and it's fun learning, and the reason I make these videos is to try to teach you guys how to make quality lumber, as if you were here slinging boards with me and me pulling the old Obi-Wan Kenobi Yoda thing. No, yes, or wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off, right? Remember that kind of thing? So that's why I like making videos. And the short answer to the question, although I just gave a very long answer, is once you learn how to produce quality lumber, and there's a learning process, your fraction of garbage wood to really high grade wood goes down. Your amount of high grade wood gets better, your amount of low grade wood goes down for a variety of reasons, and your worry about having to sell low grade lumber and ruining your reputation will start to go away, simply because at some point you're going to have a lot of trouble making really low grade garbage lumber. Just like this, when I made this on purpose, it's as bad as I thought, and I can't tolerate it. I'm going to have to fix it up. I had a buddy of mine who was getting into woodworking. You know, we used to build houses, do cabinets. I mean, I wouldn't say we're professional woodworkers, but we built a lot of high-end furniture that went in a lot of our high-end houses that we sold. And of course, that's the genesis of how we got into the sawmilling business decades ago, to produce high-grade wood that nobody else could procure. But I had a buddy, so I got pretty good at woodworking. I got real good at woodworking, let's put it that way. A buddy of mine started getting into it, and he was selling his wood, and he was making some pie safes. And as I was looking, he was all proud. They looked, you know, they looked, and he said, "What do you think?" And I said, "You know," as I grabbed one and it wiggled, and the doors didn't shut right, and the joints didn't look good, I said something to it wasn't insulting, I just said, "I don't think I could actually make one this sloppy." And he kind of took it as like a, "What?" And I said, "Well, as you get better, as you get more experience and you try to learn how to get better, you will get better. As you gain experience and don't try to get any better, you won't get any better." So I used to have a basketball coach. He was really good. And he eventually, named Ronnie Stapler, and he is now in the High School Basketball Coach Hall of Fame. So he was good. He had a saying. He says, "Practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect." And that's what you should be doing when you're running your sawmill. You try to get better every time you crank it up. You try to improve your skill. You try to improve your craft. Try to make yourself proud. And you try to get to the point where not only is it difficult to make poor lumber, it's kind of painful because you know you can do better. The truth of it is, I've been doing this a long time and do not even begin to think that what I'm saying is me saying I'm perfect and I'm done learning, because anybody who says they know everything, they're an idiot. I'm not an idiot. I know a lot of very professional and high-grade sawmillers better than myself, ones I highly respect. I learn from them all the time. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't make YouTube videos because they're too busy being professional sawmillers, and that is a shame. But you know, everybody's got to do their own thing. So I'm always learning about how to improve my craft, and I do make mistakes. As a matter of fact, some of my better videos are ones where you hear me go, "Uh-oh." Or I had a guy come by the other day and he said he likes watching my videos when I get mad at myself. He said because he knows that I'm not acting, I really am mad at myself. I'm frustrated because I made a mistake. I'm frustrated because I screwed something up. And it's the same frustration that he feels when he screws up on his sawmill. And he says that's what he likes about me, is that he knows that this is real. This isn't scripted. This is real sawmilling, and he knows that I have to sell this stuff after I saw it and try it, and our customers, the last thing I want them to do is look and go, "What is that garbage?" One of the worst things you can ever have happen to you as a sawmiller is have a customer come up and go, "Whoa, you saw that up? How about I get a discount on it?" You don't ever want that to happen. And I'm happy always learning, and that's one of the things I enjoy about running a sawmill. It's not a static trade. Every time I turn that sawmill on, I'm learning something. I'm trying to get better at what I think I've learned. And there's so many difference of wood that, you know, there's so many different species of trees in this area. There's so many different cuts I can make. It never gets boring. It always gets fun. And that's why I do it. And then I do these videos, of course, to try to help you guys get better at it, because in all honesty, I enjoy getting those comments back that says, "I've been fighting this for so long and I saw a couple of your videos and it all came together, it makes sense, and now I'm making beautiful wood that I can be proud of." Those are the reasons I make the videos. Always try to learn, always try to do better, have some pride in your work. Make sure you have a good sawmill dog watching you, or a sawmill cat, or somebody that you can talk to. And you go, does this look this bad? And if they look at you and go, yeah, it looks that bad, or, you know, Chip just kind of looks away from me, or goes pees on a tree, I know what his answer is. It's like, I need to tighten up my game. And worst case, I will send photos to my buddies and they will get a good laugh out of them. Okay, look at that thing. It has bowed up. I don't know if you can see it, but you will. I bet you it's bowed up nearly an inch on either side, either edge. That's horrible. It's embarrassing. They're heavy, and I shouldn't be having to do this. Alrighty, this falls under work smarter, not harder. And maybe for you folks that are wondering just how bad it was, look at how much these boards cut just in a few weeks. Ooh, not pretty. See, Chip's all happy again with me, because he knows I'm going to fix it. So he's back up in the four-wheeler. I'm going to make my first cut under the sapwood. I think that'll clean up both sides. Now, some of you guys may be saying I got a little deep on this side rather than that side, because it looks tapered. Looks like I could have come down another couple inches here, but not really, because if you look on this side, you'll notice this, see this circle right here? That's actually the edge of the pit. A lot of times you can see where the edge of the juvenile core is. So I'm just barely above it. All this wood in here is garbage. And even right here, you can see right here. So all this wood needs to be removed. So my next cut's going to be way down here. This is not what I want in my wood. From here to here is what I want in my wood. So let's make that next cut. Even though it's not cracking right now in that juvenile core, it will. Remember that these have only been drying for a fairly short period of time. They already look like a disaster. Imagine how bad it would be once they're fully dried. So I'm going to come down pretty hard, eyeballing it. When you look at these, when you feel the juvenile core, it actually is lighter than a normal piece of hardwood because the structure is different. And you can see how it just tries to pull apart. And remember, this isn't a crack going in like this. This is a radial crack. So that's why I went so deep. I'm trying to get, and it looks like I did, all of the current cracks and then all of the future cracks trapped in its board, so that the remaining boards are going to be in good shape. Right? Remember the before pictures? These are the after pictures. I can be proud of selling this wood. I could not be proud of selling that other stuff. Now everybody's got their own thing. This is my thing. Now yes, I do a lot of live edge slabs. I'm fixing to do a couple logs right now. But Just because I'm doing live edge slabs does not mean I'm going to let my standards go down. I want to be proud of my wood, not the other way around, not embarrassed. This looks a lot better. Let's get some logs up here real quick, knock these out. I only got 2, it won't take long. Thanks for visiting our sawmill. Click on the links above to see more of our videos.